Ooh, well, hello and welcome everybody. Randy Replay back. You hear that? That's the sound of this season dying, and we're very happy for it. Randy Replay back at it again. It's the end of year extravaganza, one of the best times of the year where we dive in deep to all these Minnesota Vikings stats and all the happenings around the NFL. We will preview the wild card weekend. We will get everything situated for the playoffs. But for now, let's see what happened with your Minnesota Vikings in the 2022-2023 season. We will also dive into the stats for the other two teams that we follow, so please don't go anywhere. We'd love to have you. The Minnesota Vikings started off with the preseason. We did not win a single game. We lost to the Raiders 48-24. We lost to the Niners 69-20. And we lost to the Broncos 69-13. Kirk Cousins and the starters really didn't play. That's what the preseason's all about, is just figuring out what you have on the roster in terms of depth. And, it wasn't that good. So, 24 points, that's not bad though, right? And then we start the regular season at home against Green Bay. Minnesota took a big L, 79-23. Oh my heavens. It got a little bit better, but not really in Philadelphia, as we took another L, 65-34. And then we were at home against Detroit, 69-40. We played those gosh darn Aints in our closest game yet this season, 46-35. We just lost that one. Oh boy. And then against the Bears, we had an even closer game. Just lost it, 43-38. And then it was time, the Aints game, of course, in London, across the pond, as Randy Replay said multiple times, trying to be weird, and he succeeded. And then we had the Dolphins. They really smacked their tail fins in our faces, 66-17. And thank goodness it was a bye week. So we are 0-7 or 0-6 into the bye. We kind of collected ourselves. And then we did make a trade here for Aaron Donald right at the end. A couple other trades went through. They really didn't matter. Aaron Donald, welcome to Minnesota here in this first stretch. And then we trade him away right before the trade deadline against the Cardinals. And we get a couple first-round picks and get some equity back in this team. We also traded another couple players away to get what we have now: 2 number 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, and a 5. So that is what we'll be carrying into the offseason and into draft night. So we regroup. We thought we'd take care of business against the Cardinals. It did not turn out the way we wanted to. 51-12 at home. Of course, Fan Appreciation Week, wearing the all purples, and oh boy, ooh, rough. So 49-29 against the Commanders. Did not go the way of the purple once again. And then we played our first user game, as some of the kids would say, in Buffalo. And we pick up our first win of the season, going 1-9. So week number 10 was very good to the Vikings, 46-9 there. Then we play the Cowboys. We lost 47-34. We are now 1-10. Oh my heavens! How can this get any worse? And then on Thanksgiving Eve, we do take care of business against the Patriots in a big upset, beating the 6-3 at the time Patriots. Wait, was it 6-5? I can't remember. They might have been 6-4. Either way, it was an upset. So we upset the Patriots, and then we lose 3 when we really needed to get some wins. 58-21 against those gosh darn Jets. 57-44 against the Lions. We had some broadcast difficulties, some internet issues with the feeds, and it was just a nightmare against the Colts. 62-40. We took the L. We missed a couple plays because of all the outages with the SSN. It was a nightmare. So that week was pretty much it for the Vikings. We pulled the upset over the Giants in one of the thrilling games of the season. For those of you that want to watch a single game from this 4-13 operation, this would be the one to watch. 100%. Came down to the very wire. Kirk Cousins flashing at the right moments. And then we play the Packers. We go down 62-37. And then, of course, as you just saw, we take care of the business, or take care of business, rather, in Chi-Town, 46-23. So we end the season. That is how we end it, 4-13. And the postseason is about as bare as, well, the hopes and dreams of the Vikings this season. But that is A-okay. Now we'll get into the stats. First, I really want to quickly go over the weekly awards here and kind of just see what shaped the season here for your Minnesota Vikings. So nothing in week 1, week 2. Yeah, week 3. So against the Lions, Justin Jefferson, 15 catches, 318 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 carries, 10 yards. So good game for him there. Again, JJ week 4. Across the pond in London, 8 catches, 119, 4 receiving touchdowns in that one, 4 carries, 31 yards, and a rushing touchdown. So JJ doing work across the pond. And then there you go, Najee Harris, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Trey Hendrickson. You get a Green Bay Packer up there. Oh boy, it's very nice. Wait a minute. Cordero Patterson, 46 carries, 179, 1 rushing touchdown, 7 receptions, 103. And of course you have Eric Kendricks, the Vikings leading tackler, 11 tackles, 1 sack, 2 picks. Sheesh. And then you go the next week, week number 10, 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 defensive touchdowns for Danielle Hunter. My goodness. And then it's all Cowboys week 11. It's all Vikings week number 12. 52 carries, 305 for Dalvin. That is when we thought he had the record, but he didn't. My goodness, how embarrassing. 1 touchdown, 3 catches, 21. And then Xavier Rhodes. To the best of my knowledge, the league-leading interceptions holder for the 2022-2023 season. 7 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble recovered, and 1 pick 6. So there you have it. Week 13 belonged to Adam Thielen, and then Desmond White, of course, and I do believe that is his name. 20 catches, 257, 1 receiving touchdown, 2 carries, 7 yards, 1 rushing touchdown for Adam Thielen, about to be 33 years old. Minnesota State college player. And then Mr. White down there, 11 tackles, 1 sack, 1 pick, 1 forced fumble. So a good stat line for him as well. And then you keep going. There's Ezekiel Elliott. We will get to the AFC here in a little bit. Don't worry. You keep going. Xavier Rhodes again, 6 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 pick 6 in week 15. You get going. Anthony Barr, 7 tackles, 4 sacks. Of course, last week in the loss. And then this week, nothing to speak of. In the AFC, we only have one team that we follow there, and that is the Buffalo Bills. You keep going. Johnson, the cornerback, rather, 9 tackles, 3 picks for him in that one. Week number 8. And you keep going. The Bills, Ezekiel Elliott, 58 carries, 320. 3 rushing touchdowns, 8 catches, 126 with a receiving touchdown. My goodness. And then 2 weeks later, week 14, he does it again. 59 carries, 339, 2 rushing and 1 reception for 5 yards. Two rushing touchdowns, that is. And then you keep going. It's Tre'Davious White, 8 tackles, 3 picks, 1 pick 6. Very nice. And that is how the weekly awards stack up. For the team stats, Minnesota Vikings, in terms of offense, we were number 1 in the NFL. in terms of total offensive yards with 8,430. How we divvy that up is 6,074 for passing and 2,356 for rushing. Averaging 33.8 points per game. It's not the best in the NFL, but it is top 5 at number 4. Passing touchdowns for the Minnesota Vikings, we had 31. Rushing touchdowns, 22. 504 first downs gained. Wowzers. Total yardage, 10,700. For the defense, very different story. We were near the bottom in the NFL. Total yards allowed, just under 9,900 yards, 9,831. How we divvy that up, 6,486 pass yards, 3,345 rushing yards. We allowed 853 points. We did get 51 sacks on the season. 24 fumble recoveries and 67 picks. Good enough for first in the NFL, as you see here. Conversion rate. Oh boy, do we even want to look at this? Among the worst in the NFL, 144 for 307 on third down attempts. That is 45%. Third down percentage, completion percentage. So, or conversion, however you want to look at it. We went for it on fourth down 34 times, converting 16. That is 47%. 2 for 4 on 2 points, so 50% there. That's good. That's got to be close to the top. Oh, not even close to the top of the NFL. My goodness. We suck. Red zone efficiency for your Minnesota Vikings. Dead last. 100. Oh, no, we had the most red zone trips. Wow. 110. 48 offensive touchdowns in the red zone, 19 field goals. You love that. Red zone defensive trips, 148. We gave up 65 touchdowns and 27 field goals in the red zone. You don't love that. So red zone percentage for the defense, 43%, and for the offense, 43%. We're pretty balanced. Penalties. The most penalized team in the league was the Bills, even though it says we have... Oh, no, they're the least. So we were the second least. Oh, my goodness. Only 26 penalties for 249. The Bills, the least penalized team in the league, 22 for 185. Turnovers. Minnesota Vikings were minus 25 in the take-give. Second in the NFL, I do believe. Yeah, second in the NFL. 117 giveaways versus 102 takeaways. We lost 15 fumbles, and that is how you do that. 92 takeaways, and we split that up by 67 picks and 24 fumbles recovered. So there you go, minus 25. It's not good. It's not great, but it's kind of trash. I had to put that into perspective. The Jets won the take-give with 19, so it's not good at all. So those are the team stats for the Minnesota Vikings, and now we will get into the player stats, the nitty-gritty, the meat and potatoes, the main course, whatever you want to call it. This is my favorite part of the end of season, seeing how we did. So Randy just got off of a broadcast call. The voice is definitely going. But Kirk Cousins, he was 417 for 714. That was 58% completion percentage for those of you that didn't know how to do math or simply didn't look over here. A career low in terms of completion percentage, by the way. But a career high in yardage, 5,356, 23 touchdowns and 63 interceptions. There is more, but the league will not track after 63 because they're giving us mercy, I guess. Desmond Ridder, who started the season on the the Falcons squad, and they let him go. We picked him up, and he did okay for us. These aren't all Vikings numbers, by the way. 3,477 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 43 picks. He was rushing in Atlanta quite a bit, and that is your quarterback stats. Into rushing, Dalvin Cook, 438 carries, 1,859 yards. Averaged just under 4.2 per carry. 14 touchdowns, average yardage per game 123, so not bad. Only fumbled it thrice. Longest run of the year of 30. He sat out 2 games due to injury. Other than that, he was really healthy, and we really needed him. So there you go. Desmond Ridder, 30 carries, 147 and a rushing touchdown, fumbled it twice. JJ off those end arounds that we need to figure out when to call those, apparently. 29 carries, 87 yards, 4 touchdowns. Adam Thielen, 1136 for 1. Ty Chandler, the rookie, getting involved there in the last game. 8 carries, 33 yards, 1 broken tackle. 48, excuse me, 48 broken tackles for Dalvin Cook. I do believe that is pretty close to best in the NFL, and it's really not. Ezekiel Elliott with 96. My goodness. Well, I stand mistaken again, and there you go. Where were we? CJ Ham, 10 for 21. Ty Chandler, 8 for 33. Wong Wu, 6 for 13. Didn't really get involved. Kirk Cousins, 5 carries, no yards. Tyler Johnson, 4 for 12. Adrian Peterson. Now, for those of you that haven't been keeping up with this series or missed it, it was a phantom signing. They didn't, for some reason, they didn't didn't report it to the league. I had it wrong on the call. 15 years in the NFL, not 13. My apologies. He sat out the last couple, so technically it is 13, but here we go. It was a phantom signing. The league didn't know about it. Randy didn't have it on his sheet to talk about pregame, and they trot him out in the last home game, and they give him a 2-point conversion. Fast forward to this game, he comes out on a 4th and 8 to get his last carry in the NFL, last carry as a Viking in Chicago, and he picks up the first down. They go no huddle. He doesn't get in. They do it again. He doesn't get in, and then a play later, he gets a touchdown. I mean, you can't write this. It's so poetic. My goodness. It's kind of an oxymoron, but there you have it. Adrian Peterson, 3 for 11 with a touchdown in what is believed to be his last season and his last game as a Viking. The team that drafted him in 2007 signed him to a 3-game contract to retire as a Viking, and he goes out on top, so to speak. And in the receiving game, Justin Jefferson sets the single season receiving record at 2,044. He does that, by the way, of 118 catches and 12 touchdowns. Longest reception of 77 yards. He did set out a couple games due to injury. And that's just scary that he did that. Imagine if he had those 4 games back. His record would be closer to 2,500 yards, I think. Adam Thielen, 144 catches, 1,788 yards, 9 touchdowns. So Adam is held out of the end zone. He leaves the last game with an injury. So he does not get double-digit touchdowns, but we have a very promising receiving core for next season. Although Adam Thielen will be 33 entering his 10th year, shouldn't be a problem. Tyler Johnson signed with the team in about week 3 or week 4, I want to say. It was so long ago. Randy can't remember. He does get 102 receptions, 1421 yards. So Minnesota not only having 3 wide receivers with over 100 catches, but 3 wide receivers with over 1,000 yards. It's got to be 3 deep 2.0. I don't know what else it would be. So Tyler Johnson, Minnesota native, coming here and just making things happen after the Buccaneers let him go. I do believe it was the preseason. Now that I think about it, they cut him in the preseason, and he's flourished here. Obviously, 2 touchdowns on the season, but he was very, very imperative to the Minnesota Vikings offensive game plan, playing in all 17 games. Irv Smith, 64 catches, 670 yards, 4 touchdowns. KJ Osborne left the team. They traded him off to Seattle and then traded back for him right before the deadline. And he ends the year with 30 catches, 351 yards, getting bounced around the NFL a bit. Dalvin Cook, 51 catches, 333 yards for the previous number 33. 1 touchdown there. Kyle Rudolph had to be signed because the team literally didn't have a tight end that was healthy. So in a year of players coming back to the team, he was pretty instrumental going down the stretch here at the end of the season. 9 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown. Colin Johnson, 6 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. The big 6'6" wide receiver turned tight end out of Texas. Amir Smith-Marset, 1 catch, 29 yards. Dan Chisena had to come in when Adam Thielen went down with an injury. 1 catch, 18 yards. CJ Ham, 3 for 13. Adrian Peterson, 1 for 9 in his first game back. Excuse me. Nobody cares about blocking, but if you just want to know how many times Kirk Cousins was sacked, here you go. 25 given up by O'Neal, 20 by Darisaw, 6 by Lowe, 5 by Garrett Bradbury, who will not be on the team. He has opted out and refused a contract by Minnesota. So there you go. Inseki, or I do believe I'm saying that correctly, only 2 sacks allowed. So another underlying storyline here. We had a makeshift offensive line for the last couple games, and they actually played very, very well together. So don't sleep on this offensive line going into next season. It's only going to get better. So for the defense, we're going to rifle through these really quick. Randy does have to get out of here, go to sleep, get ready for the offseason and everything that comes along with it. Eric Hendricks leads the league. Let me fact check. Leads the league and the team in tackles, 240 on the season. My goodness. Harrison Smith with 186. Lewis Seen, the rookie, 168. What a good first season for him. Jordan Hicks, 131. Xavier Rhodes, 110. Patrick Peterson, 109. Cameron Danzler, 89. Anthony Barr, 59. Daniil Hunter, 46. Josh Metellus, 45. And Ndamukong Suh, 43. Zendarius Smith, 33. Harrison Phillips, 26. Kenny Wilkes, who Randy Replay was very, very pleased to see come back out onto the field, with 15. DJ Wanham with 12. Shannon Sullivan with 9. Dalvin Tomlinson with 7. Andrew Booth Jr., the rookie, with 6. Brian Asamoah, who came in to play the last game of the season, had 4. So good stat line for him. Looking forward to everything Brian Asamoah II brings to the table going forward, as some of these older linebackers will start regressing. Troy Dye, 3 tackles. Hey, look, Bynum also had 3. So there you go. Tackles for loss, we had a bunch. Eric Hendricks with 33. Anthony Barr with 18. Hunter with 17. Smith of the Harrison variety with 14. And Phillips of the Harrison variety also with 14. So the Harrison connection, each with 14 tackles for loss. Wow. Hicks and Sue with 12, Zedarius with 11, Danzler with 7, Lewis Seen with 6, DJ Wanham with 4, Tomlinson with 3, Rhodes and Peterson with 2, Wilkes, Sullivan, Dye with 1. Sacks wasn't the best year for sacks, but Anthony Barr had 12, Daniil Hunter at 11, Zedarius with 7, Harrison Phillips with 5, Ndamukong Suh got 4.5. Excuse me. Kendricks had 3, Danzler 2.5, Harrison Smith had 2, and then DJ Wanham, who really had a decent stat line for the amount that he played, and a half sack. Interceptions, now official league leading and team leading interceptions leader, Xavier Rhodes. So if you are looking at this roster at the end of the season, you're like, wait a minute, this is the 2013 Minnesota Vikings all over again. It is not. We promise you, this is the 2022-2023 Minnesota Vikings roster. We just brought back a couple players that we thought would be the best, and it turns out that some of them really, really were. So Xavier Rhodes coming back to the team with 22 interceptions on the season. Cameron Dantzler, second-year guy out of Mississippi State, had 13. Kendricks with 11. Patrick Peterson with 6. Smith seen with 4, so a good stat line for the rookie. Jordan Hicks with 3. Andrew Booth, another rookie, with 2. Smith, Shannon Sullivan, each with 1. Pass deflections. We're not going to get too far deep into the list, but Xavier Rhodes and Eric Kendricks leads with 9 and 6. Forced fumbles, we had a bunch. 6 by Kendricks, 5 by Smith and Seen, so the hard-hitting safeties. Jordan Hicks had 3. Rhodes, Barr, and Hunter had 2. Metellus, Smith, Sullivan, Phillips, and Wilkes had 1. All recovered, for the most part, by Minnesota. 4 recoveries by Xavier Rhodes, 3 by Kendricks, Hicks, Sue, 2 by Lewis Seen, Daniil Hunter, 1 by Harrison Smith, Anthony Barr, Metellus, Zadarius Smith, Patrick Peterson, and Brian Osmoa. So there you go. We had a couple block kicks this season, Cameron Dantzler and Andrew Booth Jr. We did have 1 safety by Anthony Barr, welcome back, and defensive touchdowns were scored 2 for Dantzler, Rhodes, Kendricks, Daniil Hunter, Andrew Booth Jr., Zadarius Smith, Patrick Peterson, and Shannon Sullivan. And that is the defensive side of the ball. Favorite teams, the Broncos and the Vikings. Obviously, the Vikings are number 1. How's it going, Gameplex? Appreciate you for dropping by. Okay. Geez, 3, 2, 1. And for the kicking, Joey Sly, 41 of 43, 95% field goal percentage. He did miss 2. Longest of 61. My heavens. 58 of 61 on extra points. He missed 3. 7 for 7 on field goals up to 29. 11 for 11 up to 39. 9 for 10 field goals up to 49. 14 for 15 up to 50. And then, of course, 14 for 15, 50 or more. So a guy attempts 15 field goals from 50 or more. That is insane. I do believe that is good. Yeah, it's good for lead of the NFL. Well, share lead. Cairo Santos is the only guy that has attempted 15. Of course, he hit 6. Joey Sly hit 14. That is insane. And then we go to kickoffs, 123, 109 of them were touchbacks. And now for Hunter Nicewander, the 6'5", 245-pound punter out of Northwestern. 60 punts, 2,572 yards, netting 2,386. So he's only leaving just about 200 yards on the field there. Very, very nice. Average punt of 39 yards, 15 inside the 20. Only 3 of his 60 punts were touchbacks. Longest of 54. My goodness. Kick return, Kene Nwangwu had 93 kick returns for 2,085 yards. No kickoff return touchdowns for your Minnesota Vikings, but he had the longest of 43. Amir Smith-Marset had 1 for 3. Ty Chandler, just 1 for no yards. Nwangwu kept going in the punt return. He was 32. Punt returns, 154, longest of 12. No punt return touchdowns for your Minnesota Vikings. So that is pretty much it. NFL records, we'll go and we'll kind of look at season. See if anybody... Okay, so Tom Brady set the single season passing yards record with 6,028 yards. Of course, just beating out Josh Allen from the Bills and Joe Burrow. Wow, so 3 players setting that big mark. Of course, Kirk Cousins there as well. So Tom Brady, your single season passing yards leader. Tom Brady came close to breaking the single season touchdown record as well. He had 53. Wowzers. Rushing yards, Cordero Patterson set the single season rushing yard mark, 2,353. So Congratulations to Corduroy, as we call him around here. Ezekiel Elliott close behind him with 2,220. Rushing touchdowns, I don't think anybody came even close. Nick Chubb this year had 22. Record is 27, so it was pretty close. And then Justin Jefferson, single season receiving yards record holder, beating out Colin Johnson, 2,044 yards officially. Receiving touchdowns, the closest one is Cooper Kupp with 18. The record is 23. We'll see if he did that. Catches in a season, Adam Thielen just coming up 5 short this season. Had he not left the game with an injury, he might have, maybe, could have gotten it. Who knows? Defensive sacks, nobody's even close. Interceptions, we have a brand new single season interception holder. It's Xavier Rhodes. Of course, Tre'Davious White is up there with 18. But Xavier Rhodes with the 2022-2023 Minnesota Vikings. There it is at 22. A feat like no other. And that is just going to about do it. As I said, we'll go into and we'll just kind of breeze through these stats of these other teams that we followed this season. We'll take a look at their leaders and we'll comment on who we think is going to be big impacts for them next season, starting with the Falcons going alphabetically. 1,400 yards. He wasn't their only quarterback. They had Cam Newton. They had about 5, maybe 3 or 4 quarterbacks. Of course, they had Desmond Ridder at one point, but they end the season with Jordan Love, 1,400 yards, 5 touchdowns, 12 picks. Not bad, given everything that happened over there. In Atlanta, Corduroy, as we call him, Cordero Patterson, 548 carries, 2,353 yards, 7 touchdowns, 6 fumbles, longest of 62. You gotta love that. In the receiving game, Brian Edwards, 84 catches, 1,049 yards, 7 touchdowns. Kyle Pitts, 82, 874 with 3. And Demir Bird, 60 catches, 630 yards, 1 touchdown. So the Atlanta Falcons, really taking a roster with no outstanding wide receiver and really making good with it. So there you have it. Philip Dorsett as well, 50 for 549 and a touchdown. Do the Falcons have any picks? I don't think so, but the rumor is that they're trading up into the top 3 of the draft. So you have to believe some of these names that we're going to rattle off here are slated to leave for some draft picks. Oh my heavens. So obviously coveting a quarterback, there's only one on roster, I do believe, Jordan Love. So they don't have any picks yet, but it has been rumored that they are looking to get into the top 3 picks of this year's draft. So that'll be interesting to see. Nobody cares about blocking. If we look at sacks, Caleb McGarry, about 16. Defense, Jabril Peppers led the team with 154. Devin White with 146. Tackles for loss, they had a bunch. 21 by Hassan Reddick and 20 by Chase Young. Sacks, it was Chase Young with 11. Interceptions, as Randy Replay's voice cracks, don't worry, we're almost done here. Jeremy Chin with 5. AJ Terrell, the highly coveted player that is on the slate to be traded away. Rumors are, it's just rumors at this point, 5 for him as well. Oops, sorry. Let's go back. Let's go back. Devin White with 4 and Casey Hayward Jr., trade target for the Minnesota Vikings, with 4. Pass deflections. AJ Terrell had 4. Jeremy Chin with 3. Force. What was that? That was weird. Must be somebody else on the weird. Anyway, Randy Replay is hearing voices in his head. It must have come through with the system here at the stadium. Anyway, 4 fumbles forced by Hassan Reddick, 3 by Jeremy Chin, 2 by Devin White, Jabril Peppers, and Jalen Smith. Recovered by Jalen Smith, AJ Terrell, each with 2. Jeremy Chin White, Jabril Peppers, Casey Hayward Jr., Grady Jarrett, and Travis Jones, as well as, oh God, Ade Takumbo Ojendeji. That's going to be my best stab at that name. Each with one. Ogundeji? Sorry, I butchered it. Block Kicks, Chase Young, D'Angelo Moore, Isaiah Oliver, Marlon Davidson each had one. There were no safeties and a couple of defensive touchdowns by AJ Terrell, Jabril Peppers, Jeremy Chin, and Devin White. Tucker McCann had a good season. Of course, Young Hoku was let go earlier. He was 35 for 36, longest of 63. Of course, that is just shy of the record there. 19 for 20 on extra points and had one of them blocked. So there you go. Punting, Bradley Pignon, 53 punts, 2,357, netting 2,090. I said we went into alphabetical order. We really didn't because we just blew past the Bills. So let's take a look at their stats as we do follow three teams loosely. It is mainly the Minnesota Vikings, but we do follow the happenings of some of the other teams that are here in the league. So Josh Allen ended up second overall quarterback in terms of yardage, 5,986. He was 517 for 835. That is 61% completion percentage. For those of you that didn't know how to do math or simply didn't look over here, we've been saying it all season. 31 touchdowns, edging Kirk Cousins by, I want to say at least 10. And then the league won't let you go past 63 interceptions. So officially he has 63. Unofficially, who knows? Case Keenum came in. He was 59 yards, 3 of 5. No touchdowns, 1 pick. 60% completion percentage. Longest of 30. Longest of 69 for Josh Allen. Rushing, Ezekiel Elliott. Nelly. 538 carries, 2,220 yards, 16 touchdowns. You saw what he did. 5 fumbles, 96 broken tackles. Good for first in the NFL. Josh Allen, 26 carries, 271, two touchdowns. I cannot talk. 16 fumbles for him. And James Cook, I do believe that is Dalvin Cook's younger brother, 4 for 13. I do see some resemblance. Cannot verify the younger brother claim, but that's what we're going with. Receiving, Stephon Diggs, ex-Viking, 87 catches, 1,301, 11 touchdowns. Dawson Knox, 108 for 1,115, 11 touchdowns. And then Jamison Crowder, 78 catches, 1,070, and a touchdown for him. So the Buffalo having 3 receivers also with over 1,000 yards receiving. Oh my heavens. After that, Gabe Davis, 61 catches, 836, 4 touchdowns. Ezekiel Elliott, 85 catches, 661, and 3. Odell Beckham, 38 catches, 536, and 1. And then O.J. Howard, 32 catches, 364 yards, and a touchdown out of the tight end spot. Nobody cares about blocking. If you want to look at total sacks, there they are. 3, 2, 1, and we go on to defense. And it's Tremaine Edmonds leading the team in tackles with 174. Micah Hyde with 169. Jaron Kearse with 142. Tre'Davious White, 125. Taron Johnson, 123. And Matt Milano, 116. So a lot of tackles here. Tackles for loss, they had a bunch. 26 for Von Miller. You love to see it. Tremaine Edmonds with 16. Micah Hyde with 12. Greg Greg Rousseau, that's my best stab at it, 12 for him, and then Matt Milano with 11. Sacks, they had a bunch. Von Miller, how does this stack up with the NFL? Okay, among the best, 19 for Rashawn Gary. We helped him out there. Did the Minnesota Vikings. Shai Tuttle with 4. Terrell Bernard, 3.5, and then JPP 2.5. Interceptions, wowzers. Tre'Davious White with 18 officially. Taron Johnson with 11, Micah Hyde with 9, Jermaine Edmonds with 4, and then Matt Milano with 3. Hey, look, Janoris Jenkins also had 3. Pass deflections, they had a bunch. Tre'Davious White was the leader with 11. We're going to look at forced fumbles. Micah Hyde had 3. Johnson, Edmonds, Jenkins, Bernard, Miller, JPP, Rousseau. I'm going to just say that's Rousseau. Sheldon Richardson, Settle, and Oliver each forced a fumble, and the team leader for fumble recoveries, Tremaine Edmonds and Von Miller, each with 2. And they did have 4 block kicks. Janoris Jenkins blocking 3. Joe Hayden blocking 1. No safeties, and they had a couple defensive touchdowns. Tremaine Edmonds, Tre'Davious White with 2. Von Miller and Jaron Kearse with 1. Kicking, Tyler Bass, or Tyler Bass, however you want to say it. If you slap the bass, it's bass. If you fish for bass, it's bass. 24 for 31. That is 77% field goal percentage. August of 56. He was 42 of 46, 91% extra point percentage. My goodness. So lights out until he got to that up to 39-yard range. He missed 1, and then over 50 he was lights out. So he struggled 29 to 49, but after that he seems to be on the money. Missed 5 from 50. I lied. 90 kickoffs, 61 touchbacks. Matt Ariza, or Ariaza. That's not right. It's Ariza. However you say it. 48 punts, 2165 netting, 1885. 7 of them inside the 23 touchbacks. So a good a good season from him. So that is just about ready to do it here. Let's see. I mean, Randy Replay's year in review, if you had to give a letter grade to the Minnesota Vikings, we took a lot of losses. We ended up 4-13. We did see flashes from Kirk Cousins, especially the last 3 or 4 games in the season. If we can go back and look at his stats real quick, because I do believe they allow us to look at his single game stats finally. Can we go back? Stats. There it is. As we navigate, I'll just filibuster. Grilled chicken is better than fried chicken, and here we go. So the last 5 stats, the last 5 games, Kirk Cousins, he went 333 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. In the loss to the Colts. In the Giants game, in the win, he went 3 for 3, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, 401. And against the Packers, 516. I do believe that it is. No, it's not. He had a 603 game against the Lions. My goodness. Anyway, 516, 2 touchdowns, 4 picks, and then in the Bears game, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 276. But look at the longest. These last 5 games of the season, 41, 33, 37, 32, and 40. And I do believe he's taken the least amount of sacks in the last 5. Yeah, he's definitely... Yeah, for sure. And then completion percentage, the last 3 games, 70, 72, and 64. Good enough. And he's had some good flashy games, but definitely these 2 right here, if we go over. Week 16 and week 17, over 70% completion percentage. He's really showing that he deserves a roster spot, even if it is to groom a younger quarterback. We do have him for 1 more year on his current contract, so you might as well use it. He's shown flashes. Here's the details. We're going to eat $36 million in cap in 2023 this season. And unless they use him as trade bait, I expect to see Kirk Cousins starter week number 1 until he puts together a performance like this against the Eagles. 2 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Nelly. And as the season went on, you've seen the interception numbers go down. They flare up, and then they're almost non-existent against the Colts. And then they're pretty reasonable with 3-4-3 to end the season. So that's the only thing that concerns me for the offseason. There is some players that are leaving that you really want to have back. Maybe you can get them for a cheaper price in the offseason. Xavier Rhodes is probably the biggest one that you have to get back, but if not, maybe you can make a trade on draft day. You do have number 31 that you can give away. As we will look towards the draft, we'll take a look at the picks for each team that we follow, and then we will get you out of here and get you ready for the offseason. Minnesota officially has 2 number 1s. They do have the 2nd overall pick, and then they pick again at 31 by way of Kansas City. And then they pick in the 2nd round, number 39. So they have 31, 8 picks later at 39 by way of Atlanta. And then in the 2nd round, they have 57 by way of Cleveland. And then in the 3rd round, they have 77 by way of the Chargers, 95 by way of the Chiefs, and then 140 by way of Arizona in the 5th. So 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, and a 5. So there you go. Maybe you give away 31 if it means getting a corner, locking that position up. You take a quarterback with number 1, and then you waste your 2 2s on offensive linemen. And then you get some depth positions at defense and 3 and 3, and then you go for best available player with number 5. That is how Randy would do it. Once again, I just report. I'm not involved in any of the decisions this team makes, but that is how it is. On the practice squad, you do have some good players up and coming. Jalen Naylor, 69 nice. Overall. Chaz Surratt, who Randy replays very, very high on. Look for him to hopefully make a roster spot. 67 overall. He is trending upwards. And then Tanner Muse, the speedy linebacker out of Clemson last year for eligibility on the practice squad. So unless they sign him, he's going to become a free agent. 65 just as a depth move. And then that is about it. But Jalen Naylor, if you got to believe if nobody picks him up, he is going to be on the active roster come week 1 of the regular season. Oh my heavens. He has shown vast improvement on the practice squad. But getting back to the draft picks, we will take a look at the Bills picks. They do have the number 1 overall selection by way of themselves. Must be nice. And then they don't pick for 89 picks. And they get a 3rd, number 90 by way of Dallas. They have a 4th, 97. It's theirs. They have a number 129 in the 5th. It's theirs. They have 185 by way of Cleveland. 193, it's theirs. And then a 1, 2 3s, a 4, a 5, a 6, 6, 7, 7 next season. One of them being Minnesota's. Oh my heavens. Oh crap. Bad production coming by way of Randy Replay. And we'll take a look at the Falcons. I do believe they still have not made any moves. We'll check the rumors, see if they are true as of now. They have not. They have no picks the next 2 seasons, but rumors are, of course, they're looking to move up to the top 3 picks in this year's draft. I think that's just about covers all of our bases. Excuse me, Randy Replay's voice is going to be gone by the end of this one. And I am just so gassy. They put something in the water that they give to us broadcast booth members in some of these road games. I'm 100% certain. So your favorite Minnesota Vikings moment, whether it was the pass of the year, catch of the year to Tyler Johnson in the Giant game, or the touchdown thrown by by Kirk Cousins to Adam Thielen to go ahead in that game, or was it the last home game of the season against? Wait, was that against the Giants? I don't even know. Man, some of these games just flow right together. Let's take a look at the schedule. It helps if I visualize it. You see what I'm saying? So our last win was against the Giants. Okay, so that touchdown came in the Colts game. And then the Giants game had the 2-point conversion by Adrian Peterson. So I'm sorry. So was it the pass of the year, the catch of the year, Randy Replay's pass catch of the year by Tyler Johnson in the Colts game? Or was it the Adam Thielen touchdown to go ahead and then the subsequent Adrian Peterson 2-point conversion last game at home to win that one? Or was it the feel-good Adrian Peterson coming in, last carry, last touchdown in the NFL in a Vikings uniform in Chicago Bears game? I'm going to say it is the Adam Thielen game winning touchdown. If no disrespect to Adrian Peterson, but everything that this team has went through to show the resiliency and come back and actually win a game like that, that was a barn burner. If you watch any game from this season, if you're watching the video on demand version of this broadcast, simulcast, livecast, whatever you want to call it, you need to go back and watch that Giants game week 16. It was incredible. I do believe we've covered all of our bases. We will get you ready for everything off-season football. This has been Randy Replay.